there's no reason we can't be playing for an OUA championship. When everything else is finished, we can win.
We all want to win a national championship. It's like we can beat, any team in this country, and we truly believe that.
I don't think it's a pressure. I think it's we know that this is our shot.
I think they've been hungry for this. We knew we would be good this season. National championship quarterfinal date is set. It's in Burridge, it's at home. That day's coming.
People haven't really seen the caliber that we can play at yet.
We will take care of everything else in order to position ourselves to take the shot.
And some changes behind the bench as Tim Lukes, the longtime head coach for the women's volleyball team, steps into a new position.
Tim had been our head coach for longer than I've been born. Sorry, Tim. It was completely unexpected. I for sure did not see that coming. I remember we hopped on a Zoom call, pretty much just tells us stepping down with my role.
The interim head coach for McMaster Marauders, the experienced Nathan Jansen, steps in the first year for the McMaster Marauders.
Nate's gonna be your new head coach, and it's a lot of emotions to process. Obviously, Nate has been with this program for a while, so it wasn't a full change.
I was surprised. I think no one really saw that coming, especially with the weight that this year carries for them and all of us. Knowing Nate, I knew that's not something Nate's gonna back away from, and I knew he was gonna take it on, head on, all in.
He is impeccable as a human being. His proven record at the OUA level and internationally with our national program, both at the youth level and supporting the senior national team, it's historical from him. But that's crucial in performance sport, and in our case, crucial for volleyball at a performance level.
I've been working for Tim for a long time. My first year working as Tim's assistant was in 2013. Tim is very cerebral. He's a people person. He's an unbelievable connector of human beings, and it's inspiring for me as a coach to be around, but these aren't traditionally my strengths. I'm a nerd. I'm self-proclaimed. I love looking at numbers and video and crunching and trying to figure out how can we fully maximize what we're doing here. We're gonna host national championship. We've known that for 3 years now or so. So I think the plan for Tim and I was always to build a team that we knew could peak this season and would be fully ready. And I think we were hoping for the last two that we would get a little more playoff experience just so that we could come into this season with that under our belts. We knew that winning in the playoffs is really hard. But also trying to have the endurance and the capacity to get through playoffs is really hard. And I think we wanted to have more experience with that coming into this season. So 2 years ago, we were a really good team, but really young. But we lost in the quarterfinals in a heartbreaker fifth set. The rest of our current core were in first year pretty much that season. Hell, Abby Delamere wasn't even on the team yet at that time.
I remember I was at home. I was in grade 12 and I was watching the game. It was a really tight game and we lost in the fifth.
A heartbroken McMaster squad will see their season come to an end.
I remember how heartbroken I was, and I wasn't even on the team at that point. And I remember almost tearing up because it was Jessie Nairn's last year and all these things that I kind of knew in the background. So I think going into the same situation on the team the next year, you kind of understand the weight of it a little bit more.
And then last year, we knew we were better. We had one year under our belt, kind of hoping that we could definitely go on a longer run, but we lost in the quarterfinal again in another heartbreaker, fifth set.
Walk into McMaster and have upset the fourth-seeded Marauders in 5 sets.
I think a lot of our team felt like we kind of left it on the table that day.
During the season, your only goal is, you have to make it to playoffs, which we did, but at that point, it doesn't matter at all how you did in the regular season. We lost that game. It was also a home game, which makes it kind of worse.
I thought we were well positioned to finish medals. We came up short last year, but we've got to respond to that, and that was the intent of how we structured the things that we have for the girls this year.
Every year, your team changes a lot. The team dynamic changes. Even though we only had 4 first years, we had, I think, like 7 new players. So the team was very different.
Ellie is one of only, I think, 2 players on the team who were on this team pre-COVID. So her experience is like vast compared to almost everybody else on the team.
She is the glue that holds this team together. She's a really cool person to have as a mentor and a leader to the entire team. She's had an insane start to the season. Her calmness, her maturity is really cool to look up to.
Ellie has middle blocker superpowers that very few other people have. Her ability to see the game is wild. She anticipates plays that very few other middles can. She's a great blocker, but I feel like there's lots of other great blockers in the league. It's the little things she does after the block that are really special. Like a ball will be hit off the block and go to a spot where there's no one standing and suddenly Ellie's there because she saw that play happening. She's gone through matches where she has been like 2nd or 3rd on our team in digs in a match, and she doesn't play in the back row. Like, that shouldn't happen. But her anticipation and vision is pretty special.
This is my last year playing, so it's kind of cool that I get to sort of know when my final games are going to be because I know we'll be able to go to nationals. There's definitely a huge expectation for us this year, hosting nationals. And I think starting off the year being nationally ranked is something new. It's a lot different than other years.
As much as we've been preparing for this year, we have 3 transfer athletes on the team this year, all seniors, all bringing different personalities and different skill sets and trying to figure out how all that meshes together. So like some of our core have been together for a couple of years and gone through those 2 quarterfinal losses, but some of them are coming in brand new. It's a challenge to put it all together and peak at the right time.
The undefeated and number 4 ranked McMaster Marauders. They're 5-0, taking on the TMU Bulls. This program is extremely strong under interim head coach Nathan Jansen. McMaster has been a very strong team this year.
So we've got to be prepared to go the distance on this. It's going to have a narrative early, and then it's going to change fast, right? They do not quit. They never have, and they never will.
Won the first set. After that, I think we were kind of getting into a little bit of a groove, and TMU punched back, and we didn't respond fast enough.
TMU withstands a couple pushes, wins set number 2, 25-22. We're tied at 1, heading into the 3rd.
I didn't feel like we were ever out of it. Even when we were like down 2 sets to 1, it sort of just felt like we were still competing.
They took the second and the third, and we took the fourth. So we had the momentum going into the fifth. When we get fired up, we're pretty unstoppable. So I think we're all trying to figure out how to channel that consistently.
It's tough, your first loss of the year. I mean, not that we expected to go undefeated, but until then, everything was going like extremely well for our team. It's hard going into the locker room after a game like that. Like there's so many emotions, so much like adrenaline rushing still. And then it's sort of just like silent. No one really knows what to say.
If we're gonna lose, I'd rather lose now. There's definitely a part of me where I don't want to let them down either, right? They all have those moments where they don't want to let the team down. Like, I feel the same. I don't want to let the girls down. They're all in for this team right now. I don't want to let Tim down. He's put a ton of faith in me.
Losing that fifth was definitely a tough pill to swallow. So as much as it was tough, honestly, it was a needed learning opportunity for sure.
I think this whole week we've been a lot more focused. We're having like all those deep conversations about what we need to do, our mental toughness. It's really important to end this half of the season on a high note. Guelph is a good team. They are undefeated this year. Away games, you always have to sort of earn your win a little bit more convincingly.
Whenever we come off a loss, we're a little bit more hungry. Coming into any team's gym that's undefeated, you want to be the ones to defeat them. And I think that's our mentality coming into the weekend for sure. Just we're hungry, and if we play our game, we know we're going to get it done.
The Marauders head up the road to Guelph this weekend for their final clash of the first semester. Coming off their first loss of the season, the Marauders look to redeem themselves, headed into the final two games before the break. Semester with an impressive 7-1 record and are ranked second place in the province. 12 games remain before the postseason fight begins.
Our next half of the season is extremely demanding. We have a few like road trips. We play like some of the top teams. And then, yeah, before we know it, I think Nationals is gonna roll up around the corner.
We're trying to win national championships. Like, that's always been a goal.
When everything else is finished, we can win.
We have such a unique opportunity with the girls that we have.
You never quite know if you've like built the right puzzle until sometimes you know right away, and sometimes it doesn't actually happen for 2-3 years down the road. So we've been building this puzzle for a while, and maybe we're ready. I think we are. I think we're close.